How's it going, everybody? We are staying with the option select topic for now, and while I don't know when the testing ground will happen, I am sure we're going to have to pick up the topic again in the future. My definition video left a few people wondering, and many even argued against the definition. Fair enough, use whatever you want. But it did surprise me a little how many people had no idea what was going on in the clips that I've shown. My very first option select video I made in March 2018, so over a year after release. Even back then I thought the video wasn't needed as everyone knew about zone option select already. And it also wasn't that big a deal during that time as Unlock Tech was in the game for quite a bit. Doesn't matter how you parry if the attack isn't parryable. But when I made the video, many people said, "Oh, that's old news, been using it since the alpha in 2013. You know, the usual nonsense, but they did have a point. It was known tech, if you want to call it that. The topic gained traction again when all the other option selects were discovered and got out to the public. I'm talking Bash, GB and all of those. And as was made clear to me by my own comment section in my other video, many people have no idea, which isn't a bad thing. Not everybody keeps up with every single discovery in every single game they play. But this also hints at one of the problems when we're discussing topics like this, especially when it is something that is deemed problematic enough to warrant a separate testing ground. I've made another video a few months back where I talk about the topic and gave you my opinion on what the problematic ones are, so feel free to check out that video. I've also included counters to each of these option selects in that video at the end. The video didn't really get many views, which just emphasizes something that can be said about many other topics in For Honor as well. A lot of this game's players have absolutely no idea how it works. Many have never faced players that employ all these things, and even if they have, most had no idea that they did. I'll get to that in just a second. I've given you my personal opinion on the matter in that old video. Today I want to just look at the negative sides of option selects in For Honor. As it seems, there are enough downsides that Ubisoft sees fit to dedicate a whole testing ground to that problem. This will be a testing ground where tons of people will neither see nor feel any difference whatsoever. Which brings me to the first big problem of the option select mechanic. I already said it, people don't know that it exists. We've had a similar topic come up repeatedly. A general problem for most fighting games actually. The lack of good tutorials or learning material in general. While the basics might be intuitive to most, once you reach a certain level, simply playing the game will not let you improve that much, if at all, or at least not at that faster speed as you initially did. You need external sources to supplement your knowledge, and that's putting it nicely. The dilemma here will always be that a huge tutorial with dozens and dozens of chapters of minute little mechanics will just make people quit before they even started. If someone that has maybe an hour or two to play each day opens a game and looks at the tutorial, which will take them 2 months to even play through, then many of them will just close it again and refund it because they simply can't be asked. On the other hand, we have the current situation where players just simply have no clue what the fuck is even going on. And with their limited knowledge, they start to blame whatever else thing they have a tiny bit of grasp on. And this very problem will come to light when the testing ground hits. A ton of clueless people, by choice or otherwise, are supposed to give feedback on that topic. Many will think that Ubisoft's resources could be better spent elsewhere, like nerfing Griffin some more. There was this guy that played him blindfolded after all. You see my point. If something is considered a bit of a problem by people that actually know their stuff, then it's much worse on skill levels where it is much rarer to face said moves because they don't know how to defend against it, let alone identify it. Which brings me to one of my huge gripes with option selects. If I face someone for the first time, I do not know what that person knows. Are they aware of the plethora of option selects available? Do they know how to use them properly? Did the guy just GB select me, or was it their Cheeto dusted sausage fingers that simply slipped onto multiple keys? I don't know. I throw an attack and I get parried. Well, I have no clue what option select, if any, my opponent just used. This would require me to feint to neutral dozens of times to finally see most of their reactions. The person dodged one of my heavies? Well, did he just dodge? Or did he dodge option selected? My point is that there is no way to know unless you played the person repeatedly, which is a problem as people really dislike requeuing in this game. There is no indicator or anything that lets me know. When GBOS was first discovered, pre-CCU, we had a flashing GB symbol. Obviously unintended, but at least you knew what the other person was doing that way. And we still do, but it's probably lag being involved. And while we can certainly count on For Honor players to have high ping, relying on it for such a sensitive mechanic, probably not the best idea. So point being, finding out what the opponent uses to parry is almost impossible at the moment. At least not in a reasonable time frame. Alright, until now we haven't talked about how strong these are, and I don't think anyone would argue that they're not. If you argue that they need to be removed, probably because you think they're too strong. If you argue that they should stay, probably because you know how strong they are when it comes to defense. And that's exactly the next point, something I've talked about repeatedly in the past. Attack-based offense is inferior to bash-based offense. There are multiple reasons, reactability probably being the biggest one, but option selects certainly do their part. To put it simply, if I throw an unblockable attack at someone who knows all the current option selects, then I do put myself into a mix-up, and not my opponent. I'm opting into the option select roulette. Now I have to guess how they're going to defend. Do I now take that gamble and put myself into the defensive position? Do I wait for the zone? Or do I feint into dodge because I expected a bash select? Or will I get GB'd because I decided to dodge? Or do I feint into a light to beat most of the option selects? Now, everybody who tries to argue this way, you want me to repeatedly feint into light to beat it. Tell me honestly, if you fight someone that knows how to perform all those option selects, do you really want to repeatedly feint into light against that guy? That shit is easily reactable to them and will result in more damage to me than to them in the course of a fight. So don't bullshit yourself, please. Fact is that this isn't the case with bash-based offense. There isn't really an option select that limits the options against charge-based bashes, for example. Sure, some heroes like Nobu or Block Prior have an answer to multiple different charge levels without having to face the same risk as the other heroes, but the bashing hero is never put into a similar defensive position as someone who tries throwing out normal, parryable attacks. So if you continue down the path of making offense more viable, then option selects currently stand in the way. Yes, you can play around them, and they are all punishable for the most part, but a normal unblockable attack isn't really threatening in the current environment, let alone a normal heavy attack. We'll have to wait and see what Ubisoft has in store for us. Maybe they're going to outright remove all of them, or leave some of them in, or do something else to reduce their effectiveness. There are certainly arguments to be made for either of these options. A lot of people want them removed completely, others currently vehemently defend zone option select for its dynamic in teamfights mostly. Like I said in the beginning, only a smaller portion of the player base has experienced the full arsenal of those option selects. Once the testing grounds come around, I'll do another video and answer questions that might come up. Feel free to start asking in the comments already. There is a lot of info out there already, so you can do some research on your own beforehand. But never be afraid to ask. Having said all that, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody. I don't know what to do with this man. He just does shit. What is this? Seriously, what is this? Like, what the actual
Zerk has done
fuck?
nothing but dash forward heavy this entire match.
I mean, same with last match.
Oh man, I hear angry typings.
Insane.
Please! What the fuck? Attack now,
Oh.
Fox, dude! My fucking god, what is this, man?
Oh,
He
this
just
guy
didn't
just
wanna
spikes up
feed.
to
Holy
500. Let's
shit.
go.
What the actual fuck?